Donald Trump, the former U.S. president, is charging ahead with plans for a third White House run, despite a growing number of Republicans distancing themselves from him after the party's poor showing in recent midterm elections. Trump has been teasing his entry into the 2024 presidential race for weeks and is expected to make a very big announcement. However, the timing couldn't be worse for Republicans, as candidates backed by Trump fared poorly in key races in the midterm elections, where voters rejected extreme positions on social issues such as abortion rights and education. Republicans lost their chance to reclaim the U.S. Senate and fell short of their hoped-for majority in the House. Nonetheless, Trump is ready to make history by being the first major contender from either party to officially declare his candidacy for the presidency, despite the challenges that lay ahead. Donald Trump's plans for a third run for the White House have hit a snag as a growing number of Republicans have turned their backs on him following the poor showing by GOP candidates in the recent midterm elections. However, this announcement comes at the worst possible time for the Republicans as candidates endorsed by Trump fared poorly in the elections, with voters rejecting election deniers and candidates with extreme positions on social issues. Trump had been the unquestioned leader of the Republican Party, with his endorsement carrying a lot of weight for down-ballot candidates, but he has now become a liability dragging down the GOP. Many key Republicans and donors are now calling for Trump to make way for a new standard-bearer like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who won re-election in a landslide. Republican strategist and pollster Frank Luntz predicts that potential Trump challengers will be emboldened after the disappointing midterms, and he names other potential Trump challengers besides DeSantis, such as Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, former Vice President Mike Pence, former Secretary of State Michael Pompeo, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, and Maryland Governor Larry Hogan. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden plans to seek re-election in 2024. Trump had hoped to use his early announcement to freeze out other Republicans who might have considered running for the White House. However, his disappointing endorsement record has weakened his position, and he is no longer the sure bet he once was. Donald Trump's team of strategists, including GOP veteran Chris LaChivita, Susie Wiles, and former White House political director Brian Jack, will lead his 2024 presidential campaign. Despite recent electoral losses and growing calls for new GOP leadership, polls show that Trump remains a popular figure among a third of the party base, making him the favorite to win the nomination. However, Trump has faced criticism from Republicans, including Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, for the party's poor performance in the midterms. The former president has also engaged in name-calling and threatened to reveal unflattering information about potential rivals like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who recently won a resounding victory. Some analysts suggest that Trump's early announcement may have been a self-serving move that could distract from GOP efforts to win the Georgia U.S. Senate seat in the upcoming runoff election. Despite the turmoil, Trump plans to make his announcement at Mar-a-Lago, where he had hoped to bask in the glow of a series of election victories. Despite boasting about the number of victories by his endorsed candidates in the recent elections, former President Trump's hand-picked candidates lost several key races, including 6 U.S. Senate races, 12 House races, and 11 governorships, which many Republican strategists considered winnable with less polarizing candidates. Even though Trump maintains a loyal following, his legal troubles may affect his potential candidacy in the 2024 presidential race, as he faces multiple investigations and lawsuits. In addition, former Vice President Pence, who was criticized by Trump during the January 6 Capitol riot, has hinted at a potential run for the presidency in 2024, saying he believes we'll have better choices than the former president. Despite this, Republican strategists believe that Trump remains the front-runner due to his devoted base of supporters, who accounted for 35% of the GOP electorate in the 2016 primaries. In conclusion, Donald Trump's expected announcement to run for the presidency in 2024 has caused a stir among Republicans and the wider political community. Despite a growing number of Republicans distancing themselves from him, polls show that Trump remains a popular figure among a third of the party base. However, his disappointing endorsement record during the midterm elections and legal troubles may affect his potential candidacy. It remains to be seen whether Trump's announcement will freeze out other Republican contenders or embolden them to challenge him in the upcoming presidential race. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment below. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel.